Thank you everybody, and welcome to another teacher talks session tonight we are having another educator from different part of the world as usual. And tonight we are having a global partnership coordinator at Avant and an ESL teacher, Wioleta Antecka from Poland. When she comes, we are going to start our live session with her. There she is. We are going to talk different topics with her. Just waiting for her to join. Hi. Waiting for her to join. No, just a moment. And I will invite you. Just a moment. Okay, now accept my invitation. There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Hello. It's my first
Hello.
time, so I don't
That's
know
okay.
how it works.
For most of educators, I think it's before first time to having this kind of session, but
Yeah.
not so far. Anyway, so I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's like Violeta or Violeta. How?
Well, in Polish you would say Wioleta
Okay,
Antecka. You pronounce
Violeta.
it very good.
Okay,
Yeah.
Violeta. Wonderful. So I'm pronouncing correctly. Wonderful to hear that. Okay, Violeta. So before starting our live sessions, I would like to say thank you very much for accepting my invitation for Teacher Talks Instagram session for us and being our guest.
No problem. I'm very happy that you thought of me and you wanted to have me here. I hope that my connection is okay and you can hear me clearly because I can see that there are some problems, but I hope it will be fine.
I see. No, it's okay. Okay, so before starting our live sessions, and I will just a moment.
Mhm.
Uh, anyway, it's okay. So let's continue. Okay, I know about you, but maybe our audiences would like to know about you. But by the way, I think you are ready to start. Can we?
I think
I
so,
didn't
yeah.
know. Okay, so I know about our audiences may would like to know about you. So can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences?
Sure. Well, I'm based in Poland. As you mentioned, my name is Wioleta Antecka, and I've been a teacher of English for at least 18 years. And I've done lots of different things during my, let's say, career or during the time that I worked in this profession. So I started working when right after finishing studies. So I tried to be a teacher from the very beginning, right after studies, and it was a great experience, even though it was like a bit difficult.
Uh-huh.
But I really loved it. So at first, I worked in junior high school. It was called gymnasium, one of the most difficult ones in my city, but I made it. And then I started working in the school that I also used to go to, which was another interesting experience. And I wasn't a usual teacher, I would say. It wasn't only, teaching, going to school, doing my job, but I wanted to show my kids, my students, different opportunities to practice English in reality, in real life situations. That's what I had lots of them. I was crazy about it and I just loved it. So I at some point projects that were appropriate for their age. I even had third
Uh-huh.
graders or even second graders, and it was amazing. So I also had I also coordinated Erasmus projects, and it was
Wonderful.
amazing. Yeah, I loved it. So it was not only students exchanges, but I also traveled to develop my skills, and I believe that this is a great project. If anybody has an opportunity to take part in it, they should definitely do it. And then on the basis of what I was publishing on Facebook, all my activities, international initiatives, they were noticed by my company, by the company that I work for right now, so for Avant. And that's how I changed my profession a bit. I mean, yes, I am a global partnerships coordinator for Avant, but I still love teaching, and now I have private lessons, and I try to be engaged in many initiatives that are related to education, and I collaborate with Global Seal of Biliteracy, and there are some projects going on, but I will wait for it because there's I will say a few words. What else? I also supported a Global Teachers Club a couple of years ago. A wonderful initiative for teachers, workshops, activities for students. I really loved that. So I can recommend it if anybody knows it. I think they should take advantage of that as well. What else? During
Okay.
my
Mhm.
teaching, I also created some books for the publisher, which is called Greg in Poland. So these are books for grammar and vocabulary on certain levels for students, like, for example, for fourth, fifth, and sixth graders. And last but not least, now I'm also Ediverse ambassador and a member of editorial board. And actually, I love, taking part in different things. I'm workaholic. I can admit that because I need to have something interesting to do all the time. So yes, that's mostly it. The first question is done.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I think we can really easily understand that you are a workaholic when the things you have done so far,
Yeah.
and you have done a lot of things. And thank you very much for sharing things that you have done so far with us here. And some of them you still, they keep doing it. So that very wonderful and a very great experience you have. And thanks for sharing this with us,
Mhm.
Violeta. All right, so my next question again about you, and it's about something. I'll take you to the past, like what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
Well, this is also very funny, because when I went to high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And actually, my mom suggested me going to, it was a business school. And the reason was very simple, only because my sister already went to the school and she said, okay, so you will have something in common, you will learn the same thing. And I said, okay, I don't have any other idea for myself, so I did that. And actually, I was supposed to be an accountant and I was very good at it. I really liked it. But after some time, I thought, no, this is not something that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I have to
I
find
see.
something different. So I remember that I started thinking of something that will make me interested in what I'm doing. And I said, okay, why not study English? So I said, okay, I'm going to prepare myself. And at that time, I remember that the teachers in my school changed every year, and every year we started from present simple, and the things were repeated, and I had to revise a lot to get ready for
I see.
university. But I started studying English, and even at that point, you can imagine, I didn't even think that I can be a teacher. I wanted to work in a corporation. I wanted to collaborate with people around the world. I wanted to have clients. So it was still some kind of a business. And then I remember that we had to have the students internships in schools, and then I realized, oh my God, this
God.
is what I want to do. That's the job for me. Yes, I want to be there. So it was just like, at some point, I realized that this is something that I should do. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try. Yeah, so that was the turning
That
point,
was
that realizing that,
wonderful.
yeah.
It's a great turning point for you to do it, and now you're having a great job, like being a
Mhm.
teacher is something fantastic for all of us, I think. So thank you very
Yeah.
much for sharing your turning point with us. Would you like to get anything else, or can I move to another question?
Well, yes, we can move to another question, because I think that everything will be related to what
I
I
see.
say. So,
I see.
yeah.
All right. So let's continue. Okay, you've been teaching for a long time. You just mentioned that, and probably during your teaching career, you have tried different methodologies, techniques, and strategies in your lessons, and maybe you try to teach this to other teachers, and you apply these techniques in your lessons. And probably, uh, when you think about all of them, you have a kind of a philosophy of teaching, I'm sure. So what is that? What is your philosophy of teaching?
Well, this is also something that is related to my experience, something that happened to me. So again, when I was in high school, as I said, the teachers changed every year, and I remember that one year we had a teacher who was, I would say, extraordinary. He was very young, and he didn't use any books. So he said that he wants us to love this language first, because he believes that if we believe that this is important for us, this is something that is useful, and we start loving it, then it will be much easier for us to learn. So he did everything to make us, interested in this. And that was the moment that I realized that, yes, I would like to learn this language one day. I would like to speak English, because when I was in primary school, I wasn't too good. And I always, I mean, I think I struggled. I wanted to be good, but I didn't have many opportunities. I didn't have resources. So it was very difficult. And in high school, it changed a bit. So my philosophy of teaching is to make students love English, to see the real value. Because if they don't see any value, they will never learn it. It's something that needs to be learned first. So I, whenever I have a new student, I first try to tell them, to show them why it is really important to know English. Because we
I
all
see.
we all know that, okay, you go somewhere, you go abroad, you should speak English. You watch something, you should know or understand some of the phrases. Or maybe you listen to music, you should know what they sing about. Or you are buying a t-shirt, and you should understand what it says. But
Exactly.
apart yeah, but apart from that, they just don't care. They know English, and they said, oh, okay, everybody can speak that, I will do it. But once they notice that it's really good to learn English, and it's not that difficult, because you can do it, if you love this language, you can do everything. So that's the
Exactly.
beginning of, yeah, of what I do.
You find it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Violetta. All right. So, Violetta, you know that we are educators, and you know that we have a lot of stories in our the career or in our life, and sometimes we have some bad stories. Sometimes we have good stories. Sometimes we have failed ones,
Mm.
and of course we have some success stories. Actually, we always want to hear some success stories. And now I'm gonna ask you your success stories of yours. So, can you tell us one or maybe two success stories of yours, but we want to hear something inspirational if you have it. But if you would like to talk about your failed ones, you are welcome to tell.
Okay, well, I didn't think about, the failed one, so I have nothing in mind, but
Okay.
I can share my success stories. One will be related to my own experience, and the other one, I mean, me as a student, and the other one will be of a student of mine. So
Okay.
the first one, when I was doing my master's degree, my teacher decided to choose a topic for me, and the topic was English as a global language. Very easy, right? But she wanted me to include information about globish. I don't know if you have ever heard of that, but this is a term coined by a French guy, Jean-Paul Nerrière, and he decided that if we want to know English, the global English, we need to learn just a number of words, and on the basis of that, we can communicate well. And
I
my
see.
teacher wanted me. to describe this, this term and how it started, and also talk about the globalization of English in general. And at that moment, there was only one book, which was called Globish, and she said that she doesn't care, but I have to write about it. It was my thesis, and I said, okay, what am I gonna do? Uh, some time ago, when I was a student, we didn't have I mean, there wasn't too much on the internet, or even if there was, you had to pay for it. It was difficult to find it. So the only thing I could do was to go to the library, to another city, and look for any resources, any materials that would be on this topic.
I see.
And of course, when it comes to the origins of English and the global English in general, yes, there was lots of information, but not about Globish. So you know what I did? I thought to myself, okay, I have one last thing to do. So I found an email to the guy, to Jean-Paul Nerrière, and I told him that I need to write about his, you know, uh, uh,
Wow.
this concept, and he has to help me. There was another problem because the book was available on Amazon, but at that point we couldn't have the shipment to Poland was unavailable, so
I
I
see.
couldn't just get the book. So I said, please, can you send it to me? I can pay whatever you want to, but I have to write about it. And he said, well, I can send it to you, but in PDF. And I said, lovely. And he said, but there is one problem. And I said, what is the problem? And he said, because it's in French. And
Ah,
oops, I don't know French that much. So, what am I gonna do? And I said, okay, don't worry. I'm gonna use the Google Translator, and I will find out what this topic is about, and it's gonna be fine. So he sent me the PDF. I wrote my thesis. I sent it to him to get his feedback, and together it was a very
wow.
well written diploma paper. So I this shows me that you have to be brave enough to ask for help. Sometimes it will not work. It will not work out, but this time it worked, and it was something that gave me this power and this motivation to do more. And I just I was extremely happy. So this is something that I tell to everybody, because it was amazing. Yeah,
That
and
was
after
nice.
that time, yeah, we had some we kept in touch, and we had other one other collaboration, because I translated his book into Polish, but this one it was from English to Polish. It's
Ah,
called
I see.
Polish World, the World Over. So it was really nice to be a
I
part of
see.
it.
It's a
Yes.
wonderful story, but by the way, you were really lucky about his response to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. You never know. There are people who will just ignore you, but this time I was really, really lucky. So, my teacher also was surprised, and she said, well, I didn't believe you would do it. And I said, well, I made it somehow. So this is one of the success stories of mine. And the other
That's
success
wonderful.
story that is related to my student,
Sure.
and she's incredible. I started teaching her when I think she was in the fourth grade, and she wasn't too good. I mean, we did different things, but well, she struggled. And I don't know, but learning English was extremely difficult for her, even reading, understanding words, remembering. And I said, oh my God, I don't know what to do, how to do it. And every year at the beginning, I ask my students, what is your goal for this year? What would you like it to achieve? And she said, I would like to live in the US, so I have to speak English. And I said, oh my God, how are you going to do it? I just said to myself, but I know what the last year looked like. So I thought, okay, so we have to do it this way. And I said, listen, you can do it, but you have to follow my rules. I'm gonna speak English. I'm gonna expect a lot from you. And even if you don't understand, don't worry. I will explain grammar in Polish if necessary, but we will talk as much as possible in English. And at some point, you will start understanding, and you will be able to speak. And she said, okay, let's do it. And imagine 1 year of her hard work. And now we have lessons in English from the beginning to the end. And whenever I ask her, "Hi, how are you? What happened last week?" or something like this, she can talk for 20 minutes at least, telling me about details from her life. So this is also a sign that, or maybe this shows that if you have a huge motivation, you can do everything, even if you have some challenges in learning anything. And even though I'm telling that, I have to admit that I can't apply it to my own learning because yeah, I am trying to learn Spanish. I've been learning Spanish for 10 years, and even though I tell
Wow.
everybody how to learn English, I can't master Spanish. So that's possible that among the viewers, the audience is my friend Maggie. She's from Chile. You remember I told you that
Sure,
she was, yeah.
sure.
And yeah, I told her that I would like to speak Spanish one day. So sometimes she texts me in Spanish, but I need more motivation. Definitely. I hope that it will change soon.
I see. Really, that two stories are really fantastic. Especially about one of them is about you. Your I think you were really behave brave at that point to do that.
Yes.
That moment could be happen differently. Could happen different things. Maybe, probably he could say no, I can't help you. But you
Hmm.
tried your chance and you made it. That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And the
And
second story also is really nice. Yeah,
yeah, sometimes we have to just give it a try. If nothing works out, well, it can. But I didn't want to regret not even trying. So
I
that's
see.
why.
I see. Wonderful. Thank you. By the way, thank you very much for sharing these two stories with us.
No
Okay.
problem.
So my next question, this question is really, I think, kind of a critical question for you. You know that you've been living in Poland and you are Polish and you've been, teaching Poland for a long time and you have know or the have know a lot of things about Poland's education system, especially the English one. If you had a chance think yourself to change, the one thing in Poland's education system, what would you change and why?
Hmm. Well, when it comes to the changes in education system, I think that it would be great if teachers had more um, choice of the materials. They would they could decide about certain things, because now I can see that it's all regulated by the system, and sometimes even if we want to implement something different, we are somehow limited. So this is one thing, that this flexibility, that's something that we should have, because I remember that when I worked at school, I really missed that at sometimes I just reached the point that I couldn't change anything, and even if I wanted to do something better for the students, I found new solutions, I just had to stop because it wasn't possible. So this is something that I would like to change when it comes to the education system. But also, maybe it's not related to education system itself, but what I would love to change is the way teachers are perceived in Poland. I know that the problem is in different countries as well, but unfortunately here this profession is not well perceived. People often criticize us. They say that we don't work hard enough, that we have too much time off, but which is not true. And yeah, teachers really want to make a difference, and they are all
I
trying.
see.
But the way people see us, and what the government sometimes says about us, it's really hard. It's really hard if you want to be a good teacher, if all the time you hear that you are not good enough, and you know so that's what I would like to change, definitely.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your idea about your education system. And there was someone, he's asking a question to you. He
Yeah.
says, what does she think about Turkish ed Probably she has no idea about Turkish education system.
No.
And he had another question about, does he have Erasmus students right now? He
No,
asked.
right. No, I don't have any students because I don't work for any school right now. But I know that in my school there is a Erasmus project, and also Well, this is something that should happen soon. Even though I don't work at school, as I said, my friend, my beloved friend from Turkey, Guler, she's probably coming here in at the beginning of 2026. She just asked
Wow,
me if there is a possibility to have a job shadowing, and I said, okay, I'm gonna ask in the school that I worked for, and they said
that's
yes.
really
So
great.
we are working on that. So yeah, even though I don't have my students, I have connections and I have friends uh, all over Poland that would like to take part in such projects. So if
Wonderful.
anybody is interested, why
Perfect.
not? We can talk about it. Maybe we can find some partners.
Partners, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, for your answers. Okay, so as an educators, when the first time before starting our job, we always have a kind of a dream classroom in our mind. Oh, my classroom is going to be like that, and my classroom is going to be like this, or something like that, as you know that.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
when you think about your dream classroom, if you could design it with unlimited resources, what would it look like?
Huh. Well, I believe that in our digital era, the first and most important thing is that we should have access to different digital resources. So, like
Yeah,
interactive whiteboard, or computers, or things like that. They should be in each classroom. Why am I saying that? Because unfortunately, it's not always the case in Polish schools. I know that it's all about the money, but sometimes, teachers would like to do a lot, but they don't have just these devices. I remember that when I
I
worked
see.
at school, we did it. I mean, in my classroom, I didn't have anything. So there was a computer, but I didn't have any screen. I didn't have, proper internet connection. And I was disappointed. I really hated being in my classroom, even though, I liked the room, but I didn't I was limited by all this. So for some I could say that the pandemic was good for me and for my students because I loved using different ICT tools, Web2 tools, and apps and platforms and anything like that, and it was finally possible. So I enjoyed it and my students enjoyed it a lot. So this is something that I would like to have in every classroom. I know that it's I mean, we as teachers can, well, I can want it, but I'm not a decisive person, and yeah.
I see.
But
I
if
see.
a dream classroom should just have access to all such things, so that teachers can decide what they want to use
This is
and
what
when.
I want to use it. That's really important, especially during this, the technological era and AI moments.
Hmm.
I see.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing it. And we just talk about the education system of Poland, and you said something about it. And my next question is going to be related to that. Like, you've been teaching English over there, and probably you have met lots of Polish teachers there and lots of students, and of course we have a lot of ideas about it. When you think about this, what problems do teachers face with teaching English to the students in Poland? Maybe one or two things, if you can say.
Hmm. Well, the problem that I can see is that there is this mismatch between curriculum, official requirements, and real communicative needs. Because we know that knowing English, it's not about just writing a few words or doing grammatical exercises, but it's about communication in a written and oral form, understanding, reading, interaction. And I noticed that especially in primary schools, we don't have time for it, or I don't know how
Oh,
to
I
explain
see.
it, because we have the exam at the end of the eighth grade, but there is a writing task, but it's only a letter or an email, so it's a very short text,
I
and
see.
there is no speaking exam. So if teachers want to prepare students for the exam, they focus on the activities or the tasks that will be on the exam. So I understand that somehow they don't want to practice speaking that much because it will not be assessed at the end of school. But it's like a vicious circle, because when students graduate from primary school, they often they are often afraid of speaking English because they didn't have enough opportunities at school. And also there is also the other thing that why I participated in a twinning project is only, not maybe not only, but mostly because students had this opportunity to speak, to interact, to collaborate with students from different countries, and they realized that okay, I need to learn English if I want to do something together. And if you don't have a chance, then what, you can just do the exercises in your course book, and I don't think it's enough. So this is something that we face in schools, because we as schools or principals often require or expect some results. They
I see.
expect results on the exam. That's why teachers often focus on that. Not
Mhm.
everybody, but I know that it's sometimes very difficult to change that. So
I
this
see.
is what yeah.
What you
It's
think about it? Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing it. We have also kind of problems in Turkish education system, but we're trying to adopt different, the systems, techniques, and
Mhm.
model and something like that. As you know, that's something always we always try in education. Always, every year
Mhm.
something differently. We try on teachers, we try on students, we try about the education. We just try it. If it doesn't work, we move another one. If it doesn't work, we move another one.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
it's we will see, and I hope one day we'll find the best one and use it. Anyway, okay, and that we are in a kind of an AI era. It's AI is everywhere. When you look at right, you see something related to AI. Look at left, something you see a lot right,
Mhm.
up and down
Mhm.
and everywhere, something related with AI. But I'm not gonna ask you this question. What do you think about the education will be with AI in the future? My question is will be different, okay? My question is if AI could take over one boring task in education to free teachers' time, which task would you give it to do?
So I can definitely say that this question is easier than the previous one that you said that you are not going to ask me. So thank you very much. But one boring task I've been thinking about it, and something that was extremely time consuming and boring, it was all the paperwork that we had to do. So the more even we have lots of students with special needs, and I think that it's the same in every school, that you have to prepare documents for these students. It takes lots of time. So yes, I would like to have AI work on that, so that I don't have to think about it. So it would be prepared, in advance. I can only revise it. I don't know if it can be used this way, but paperwork is something that, yeah, we have too much of it, and I think that we should have less of it. So yes, I think that AI should help us with this, definitely.
I see. Thank
I
you
know
very much.
the other thing, because there was one thing, but another one just came to my mind. It would be also great to have AI assess your students' work, but I know that you can do it, and there are different apps that help you do it. And I also use ChatGPT quite often to evaluate my students' writing. So, for example, if I prepare my students for an exam, because I also do that, and they write something, I sometimes ask ChatGPT to tell me, what do you think, what level of proficiency this student is at. So I can get information on that, and then I can tell my students, you should be at A2 plus at the end of primary school, but you are already on B1. And they say, wow, that's cool. So this is
That's
also a
nice.
good feedback.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. And by the way, these are really, the we need to find the solutions to do them, and definitely the AI, to help us about this. Okay. Thank you very much. You know that we always, look for some motivational things at our job because, the teaching and working in education is not an easy thing. Maybe when people talk it about outside, they think that oh, they're in education, it's very easy. They just teach and they just do something with the with the students. Their job is not difficult to do it. Sometimes people say this, we hear it, but actually it's not. It's I think one of the most the challenging job in the world. I can say that being a teacher in the classroom.
Mm-hmm,
Anyway,
mm-hmm.
so and as a teachers, we always the want to find a kind of a motivational things to do this job because this help us to do it. I think so. When you think about yourself, what motivates you at your work?
Yeah, definitely. The thing that motivates me most is when I see that my students level up, because sometimes I struggle. I try to be creative. I look for different ideas. I want to implement new apps, or modify the way I teach. But I see that, okay, we got stuck somewhere. So when I see that my students caught something, that they understood something finally, and they can use it in practice, then yes, that's the biggest motivation. I say, yes, I'm in the right place, and that I'm doing what I should be doing, definitely.
Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. This is, before being a teacher, you just mentioned that you had different things in your mind. Then you change it. And you become a teacher. So when you think about this, if you weren't working in education, what completely different job would you try just for fun?
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, let me think, because I took some notes. Let me think.
Sure,
Did I
sure.
write anything? Where is that? Ah, yes. So I was thinking, I like creating different things. So maybe I would be a um, digital creator, or maybe I would create different designs for apps, or maybe for different platforms. I like working in Canva. I like, creating things from scratch.
Uh,
I working
one
with
of my
different
favorites. Yeah.
objects. Yeah, so this is one thing that I could find quite interesting. Or I could be a photographer, but I would definitely need somebody to buy the equipment for me. But yes, I can do it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Violeta. Okay. So, Violeta, in our life, especially most of the people, we always want to follow the path of a good people and successful people. We always take them as a role models, or sometimes they inspire us something, the things that they have done, something good for the world or for around of them. So when you think about this kind of things, probably you have a role model, or maybe some people inspired you in your life. So who are or is your model or models, and do you have anyone inspires you in your life?
Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned before, the first teacher that showed me the real value of English. So he really inspired me, and I decided to learn English. But a funny fact is that I contacted him after a couple of years after I graduated from high school, and I found him on Facebook, and I said, okay, I'm gonna reach out to him and tell him that yes, you impacted me, and that's why I am a teacher. So I contacted him, and he said, seriously, don't tell me that. I hated being a teacher, and now I'm an electrician in Wales. And I said, no
Nice.
way, never. So yeah, he was my inspiration, but he didn't like what he was doing. But he inspires me to be a teacher. And apart from that, I get inspired by all the teachers who do something more than is expected. And I could mention names of different people that I still keep in touch with, just because I can see how hard they are working, how creative they are. I like to be engaged in the projects they have. Lots of people. And when I started working in e-twinning, and then after having all other international projects, I met so many interesting people who don't get paid extra for what they are doing, but they are still doing it, and they truly love this profession. So
Exactly.
this is the biggest inspiration for me, that we know that we make a difference, and we want to do it because it's in
Definitely.
us. We just can't stop. It's our passion. We want to do it. So yes, I believe that this is something that inspires me to do
Wonderful.
even more.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much for your nice answer, Violeta. Okay. So, Violeta, you know that as an educators, or maybe before the being in this part or area, whatever, we read books, we watch movies, and we go some shows, and we watch TVs, of course, and we see lots of movies, or I don't know, some advertisements or something like that. When you think about them,
Mhm.
what's a book, movie, or show that unexpectedly, all right, influenced the way you teach or research? Do you have any kind of things like this?
I've been thinking about it, but I don't think I have had one book that influenced the way I teach. No, I rather I'm also I'm always a person who is looking for different solutions on my own. So I like exploring, testing, and learning from others. So I think that it couldn't be a book. I would rather say that these are all the people, all the educators that share their knowledge, because again, sharing is caring.
Correct,
And
yeah.
it's just because of this is like we turn each other on, right? Because if we share what we can do, what we know, this is something that really inspires me, and it also directs the way I teach.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Violeta. All right. Violeta, time flies, and we have no idea what's gonna happen in the future. We just guess or some, kind of, the possibilities we talk about it for the future. But when you think about your 10 or maybe 15 years later, how do you see yourself? Will you still be a teacher, trainer, or writer, or will you try different things?
Well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Well, I just feel that no matter what I will do in the future, I will still be a teacher at heart, or I will still try to have at least some students, because I can see that I can't stop. As I said, 3 years ago, I changed my job. I mean, I stopped working at school, but I didn't stop teaching because it's impossible. I just have to do it. I love doing it. This makes me happy. And even, I sit at home on Sunday and I think, okay, what am I gonna do with my students? Let's think of different, interesting topics that we can cover. Or I look for videos or reels on Instagram that I can use with my students. So it's something that I think I can't stop. I won't be able. I won't be able to stop.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Keep working like that. Don't change your job, okay? We
Yeah.
need teachers, we need educators like you, like us.
And I
Yeah,
need teachers.
exactly.
Yes, I need teachers, and I hope they won't stop doing what they are doing, because I need inspiration. I need motivation.
Yeah,
So yeah.
exactly, exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, in our life, we have lots of challenging situations. Sometimes we can handle them, but sometimes we can't handle them, and we look for solutions. Or sometimes we said on our own, "Oh, I wish I could have a kind of a superpower to solve this problem, to cope with this problem." All right, but when, of course, we don't have it. But when you think about this, not our life, education part, if we could have one superpower to use it in the classroom, what would it be and how would it help you? By the way, I'm not talking about, the become a Hulk in the classroom and smash all the
Okay.
students. I'm not talking
I
about
have to
this.
change my ideas. I'm just joking. Well, yes, yes, I know what you mean. I am thinking about it, and I we as teachers, we are lifelong learners, so we learn
Exactly.
all the time. Sometimes we have to admit that we learn something too late, and what I would like to have, a superpower that I would like to have, is to see where my students really struggle and what exactly they need to give them support at the time that they really need this. I really like formative assessment. I'm really into it, and I really see the value of giving our students feedback on what they are doing well, where they struggle, to help them notice strengths and weaknesses. But sometimes we just can't see that, or we try and we make mistakes, and we waste time sometimes, let's say, and we can't help our students achieve what they should achieve faster. So I would like to have the superpower to see exactly what my students need at this moment, to help them, to give them resources, to give them support they need, because I think that we need to make learning and teaching personal, inclusive, so that the students can
I
achieve
see.
proficiency much faster. Yeah,
I
so
got it.
even though I know we all do it, I think that it will be a great superpower to see it just immediately, not just, sometimes wasting our time that, oh my God, I should have used another activity. I can see that my students can do it, or maybe it's not the best, but you know,
Still, I see. Thank you. Thank you very much for talking about this superpower with us. Thank you, Violeta. All right. Think that, Violeta, we finish this interview when you go outside from your home and find a lottery ticket that ends up winning $100 million, which is a huge amount of money. What would you do? Please be honest, okay?
yes, I have to be honest, and people who know me, they know that if I had this money, I would just spend it on traveling. I'm
Wonderful.
crazy about traveling, but I don't have the money, right? I mean, I have some, but I would have more. I would need more to travel to every place that I would like to visit, because yes, I have my wish list. I have some places on my list that I would love to visit at least once in my life, and if I had the money, I would definitely just fulfill my dreams. So this is something, and I would like to visit all my friends, all my teacher friends that I know, and I hope they are here. And Maggie, you are the first on the list, of course. I would love to go there.
Wonderful.
I can see that we get on so well, even though we have never met in person. But yeah, so yeah, I have so many teachers in many countries of the world. I would love to visit them in person. So yeah, I need
Don't
the
forget.
money. I hope that I will leave my house and find this lottery ticket today.
Wonderful. Don't forget to visit Turkey.
Yeah, absolutely. This is also on my list, but the problem is that I have too many friends in Turkey, and it's a big country, and I don't know where exactly I should go first, because if I go to one place, the other person would be, disappointed that I didn't visit them first. So, yeah, I need to plan it very
I
carefully.
see. I see. I think you're right here. I'm sure we will see one day each other. I think you're right here. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, Violeta, the time flies, and now I'm gonna ask you my last question and the hardest one. Ready for it?
Let's try. I'm not
Okay.
ready, but okay. I
All
hope
right,
it's on the
wonderful.
list.
Okay, here is the question. What is your motto?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it as well, because I always keep saying myself this is, I think, I don't know if there is this saying by anyone, or a quote. I say that good things happen to those who leave their comfort zones. I just believe that I need to leave my comfort zone quite often to achieve things that I want to achieve, because I'm a coward sometimes. So this is something that I would like to change to myself, and I would like to believe it. But the other quote that I really love is by William Butler Yeats, and he says, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." Because
Oh, I see.
if we light this fire in our students, we can do absolutely everything with the students,
Mhm.
and they can achieve absolutely everything.
I see. I see. Wonderful. Thank you for these mottos, Violeta. Okay, so now I ask all my questions, Violeta. And
Yay!
before ending our live session, would you like to add anything else? Do you have any advice or suggestions or something that you want to share with our audiences?
Well, what I want to share is that we should definitely keep doing what we are doing. We shouldn't be afraid of achieving, or maybe wanting more. We shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes, because they will happen. We make mistakes all the time, but we have to admit that, okay, something was wrong, and I try again. And also, I would like to wish everybody to have great fellow friends, great educators that they can rely on, because I think if we have people around us, we will be unstoppable. So that's something that I would
Exactly.
like to say.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Violeta. And I would like to say thank you very much for being with us here tonight, and especially thank you
Thank you.
very much for your suggestions, for your advice, and especially, which is for all of us, the most important thing, your time. You spent your time with us here. That was really
It's lovely. I really
Marvelous.
enjoyed it.
Exactly, with us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you.
so Wioleta Antecka was with us here tonight with Teachers Talks 216 session, and we had a fruitful session with her. And as you know, that we are going to be here next week at the same time on the same day every Monday at 9 p.m. in Turkey's time. And until the next time, wherever you are, okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good night. And please take care of yourselves. And please take care of yourself, Violeta. And
Thank you.
bye bye, everybody. And
Bye
peace.
bye. Yes. Bye bye.